Hey all, I'm LC Ebbing and I'm back with round 2 of my Pathfinder 1st edition legendary builds from my Marvel world. Quick reminder of the build rules. Superheroes are going to fall under Epic Fantasy, providing a 25 point buy, and will receive PC wealth by level, which once again will come out to 315,000 gold pieces. I use fractional base bonuses, the background skills alternate rules, and have access to unchained classes. We'll also be using the variant multi-class rules for this particular character, but I've got a version of him without that as an alternate. So without further ado, I present my build of the Hulk. Hulk is both easier and harder than Captain America was. On the plus side, his attributes are significantly more straightforward, but achieving those attributes becomes the struggle, and there isn't really an equivalent strength score for being able to break time with a punch. So that isn't quite as useful when we're using the Wiki here. Before I start down that rabbit hole, though, let's go ahead and go with the obvious choice for what the Hulk should be class-wise. And that's going to be Alchemist, followed with an equal amount of Master Chemist. Science gone wrong, and now you got a super buff, super tough alter ego. That's clearly Hulk. And the real benefit here is that you also get to have Bruce Banner and Hulk in one character. Of course, like with Captain America, I gotta make a couple of concessions, take a few liberties, because you're not gonna get the strength level you want without letting Banner have some of it. There's just no way to go from, like 0 to 100 all at once. But with regards to the Alchemist, neither Banner nor Hulk are going to be the bomb throwing type. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to swap that out for Vivisectionist. And we're going to replace those bombs with the sneak attack damage. But thematically think of it more as the precision damage it is, and that it's kind of Banner exerting his influence on Hulk to make sure that he makes the most out of every punch. Not that Hulk typically needs it with his strength, but, there's a lore-ish reason for it when you look at it that way. So the other thing that neither personality really wants anything to do with is going to be the poisoning. So we're going to swap that out with Beast Morph. This is going to give us the look of Hulk that we want, making our screen green and rough looking. And then it's also going to give us scent and a climb speed whenever we mutate. That's technically changeable, but I'm always going to keep it the same when I play Hulk. So it'll always be scent and it'll always be a climb speed of 30 feet. And then here's where we're going to call out that variant multi-class. And we're going to take the Sorcerer variant multi-class with the Orc Bloodline. And the great thing about this is it's going to give us immunity to fear. It's going to give us the power attack feat, which we were going to take anyways. It's going to give us a +2 to natural armor, and it's going to give us a +4 inherent boost to strength. We can get similar results without the VMC using Eldritch Heritage and the Orc Bloodline, but it's going to take up 1 extra feat. We're not going to get the immunity to fear. We're not going to get the +2 to natural armor either. And perhaps most importantly, it's going to require a massive change to our attributes. So obviously I prefer to use the VMC version of that. In either case, having the Orc Bloodline is going to make a whole lot of sense because we're going to be half-orcs. So we're taking half-orc, and then we're going to swap out the Orcish weapon Familiarity with the Shadow Hunter. And pretty much this just means that Hulk gets to punch ghosts and gets a little bit of extra resistance against the undead. And then we're going to give his racial boost to strength. So based off of point buy and racial bonus, you're going to start with an 18 strength, a 14 dex, a 14 con, a 14 int, and then a 10 wisdom and 10 charisma. That strength is nothing for Hulk, but also that intelligence is nothing for Banner. So we're going to fix that by handing Banner a headband of vast intelligence +4. Alright. We're going to throw Knowledge Arcana, use Magic Devices, the skills that automatically get boosted with it. But that'll bring him up to an 18. And the Wiki says he's the 4th smartest man on Earth, which an 18 really doesn't reflect, but we'll go with it. Had I more cash, I would have gone to 20 with the +6 headband, but it is what it is. As for the rest of the Hulk transformation, so we got to kind of prep for that as well, and we're going to do that with the Belt of Physical Perfection +6. All of our leveling boosts are going into Strength, so all 4 of those go to Strength. The Variant Multiclass boost is going to bleed through to the Banner Strength as well. So that's going to, with those 3 things, that's going to bring up the Strength to 32. Dex and Con will each be 20 now. Intelligence will be an 18, and then you're still going to have the 10 Wisdom, 10 Charisma. Obviously, 32 is way too much strength for Banner, but we're going to go ahead and kind of steal from the MCU and say that he's always angry. So that strength is just sitting kind of right under the surface for him to easily tap. The transformation. Alright, so by taking 8 of both Alchemist and 8 of Master Chemist, we set ourselves up so we can take the Grand Mutagen at our 16th level, which happens to be the first level that it's available to us. And that's going to just make the most out of our mutation, because it's going to give us the 6 natural armor bonus, the +8 strength, the +6, we're going to throw that to Constitution, and it's going to give us a +4 to Dexterity. The other prerequisite mutagens are going to be Greater, which, I mean, obviously once you have Grand, Greater doesn't do anything anymore. And then just to get into Master Chemist, we needed to have Feral, which will still apply, and is going to give us 2 claws and a bite, and all of those are going to be primary attacks. So that means full attack bonus on all of them, full damage on all of them. We still have 3 more basic Alchemist discoveries. So I'm going to go ahead and take Preserve Organs twice for a 50% chance to ignore precision and critical damage. And then we're going to take the Bone Spike Mutagen, and this is going to give us an increase to our natural armor. It's going to give us effectively armor spikes, and it's just going to make Hulk look a whole lot more bestial. But seeing as how this is Pathfinder and monsters and whatnot, like, that can kind of play into it very nicely. With regards to our advanced mutagens from Master Chemist, we have 2 of these that we can use. The first one we're going to use on Nimble. Now, if you know the Master Chemist, you might think, well, why on earth are you not going with Burly? But functionally, the only thing Burly's going to do is give us a boost to the strength check to break objects. It's only going to give us a +4, and we've already achieved an equivalent of that with the favored class bonus for a half-orc alchemist. Whereas keeping Nimble, we're going to get an additional +4 to our natural armor, and we're going to get a +4 to our jump checks or acrobatics, which will be more useful, and we'll add more to that in a little bit. So the other advanced mutagen we're taking is Furious Mutagen, and this is going to step both our bite and our claws up a level of damage. So that'll be nice. So with all of those discoveries, we're looking at a strength of 40 when we mutate, but we can make that a little bit higher with our extracts. Alright, and so this is one of those concessions that we need to make for Hulk, which is self-buffing, and the Alchemist has 2 extracts that we can actually make use of here, specifically in regards to strength. That's going to be Rage, and that's going to be Enlarge Person. Alright, so Rage is obviously a weak cousin to the Barbarian Rage, but we don't have to be fatigued at the end of it, and because we're doing it via extracts, and we're going to be getting 14 rounds per extract, we're probably going to come out with more rounds per day than if I had like VMC'd Barbarian instead. And I mean, it is still a +2 strength and a +2 con, so it's nothing to be ashamed about. And then the Enlarge, eventually, if you took Hulk far enough along this, you would get the Power of Giants at level 19, which would let you change your size for a significantly larger bonus multiple times a day. But like I said, that requires us to be level 19 to acquire with the VMC. So we're going to use regular enlarged person, which is just a +2 strength, but better than nothing. And it's also going to increase our die step again on bite and claw. So that's nice. So with those two in play, you're looking at a final strength score of 44. And that takes 3 standard actions to get there. But we can Hulk out early. That's taking one of those actions away. And we can maintain our mutation for up to 16 hours. And we can actually shift back and forth 4 times a day without drinking something, and a 5th time a day, assuming that we've brewed 1 mutagen in the morning. Enlarged person is minutes per level. And unlike the spell, isn't a full round action when drank. So you can use it in combat, but because it's minutes per level, it'll be best to be used beforehand. Even though we're 16th level character, our caster level is only the equivalent of 13th. And for duration of our extracts, that's going to be counted as a 14th because of one of the traits that I took, and I'll tell you about in a little bit. So it's still 14 minutes of enlarge. So I mean, if you already know that you're going into a castle, if you already know you're rolling into a dungeon, you just have to prepare appropriately, which, considering that you still get kind of Banner's intelligence bleeding through, you might as well do. You know, he's smart enough to be able to do that. He is also smart enough that we might as well be doubling up all of our buffs. And so we still have 4 feats that we haven't talked about yet that we get to earn. And so one of those, the first one that I'm going to, this isn't the first one you would take when building the character, but it's the first one I'm going to talk about, is extra discovery. So we can get 1 more discovery out of the alchemist, and we're going to make that combine extracts. 2 formula, 1 extract. It goes up 2 levels, and but because of the action economy we're going to save, it's definitely worth it. So that way we can, you know, punch face. So when we're doing the combination of extracts, you're going to want to pair the spells appropriately, or pair the formula appropriately. So you might as well have both of the formula in it, cost to the same base. You also should have them have the same duration. So with, for instance, Enlarged Person, which is a 1st level and minutes per level spell, we can pair that really, really nicely with Shield, which is also 1st level, minutes per level, and you're going to get a +4 shield bonus, and you're going to negate magic missile for those 14 minutes. So that takes up a 3rd level slot, of which you get 5 a day. Hang on. Rage is already a 3rd level spell, and that one only lasts rounds per level. But you can pair that with either Thorn Body or Haste, which are same duration, same spell levels. Haste you can easily pick up from another party member, so I feel that, like, as far as self-buffing is concerned, Thorn Body is the better way to go. That's going to bring your formula to the 5th level, of which you only get 1. But your 5th level options are pretty poor, honestly, for this theme. There's only 2 that might apply, and one of those we're going to get a lesser version via a magic item, and the other one is just extremely circumstantial. Like, you should probably have it in your formula book, but it's not something you're going to use on a regular basis. So you might as well use the 5th level slot for like a Rage Thorn Body combo. Another great minute per level combo is taking Blur and Iron Skin, both of which are 2nd level spells, and so therefore will occupy a 4th level slot. You get 4 of those slots, and this provides you that 20% miss chance and another +6 points to natural armor, which miraculously will stack with all of your other natural armor bonuses for a total of plus 20 natural armor. There is one spell of value at 4th level, which is Stone Skin, and that one lasts 10 minutes per level, or a little over 2 hours. It's going to give you DR 10 adamantine, and it's going to soak a total of 130 hit points worth of damage. So with that one up on top of everything else, you'll get a functional hit point total of about 365, an AC of 43, and you're automatically going to be missed 20% of the time. Now, to help extend the life of all of your buffs, you have a wonderful second level formula called alchemical allocation. And if you take that immediately before one of your long duration buffs, then you're functionally getting those 4th level buffs for the price of a 2nd level slot. And you got 6 2nd level slots, and honestly, there's nothing else of value because you're already combining Blur and Iron Skin together. So there's really nothing else of value to put in that 2nd level one. And because you're doing all of this before you go into combat, it doesn't affect your action economy. You can have Stone Skin up way early, and you can do it a lot because you've got these alchemical allocations. Same thing with your Blur and Iron Skin, and your Enlarged Person and your Shield. So yeah, so the best way for you to be Hulk is by pre-buffing, and that's going to allow you to do the Hulk things you want to do in combat, namely smashing face. So a 4-round attack for Hulk, with everything up, is going to be a bite at plus 30. You're going to deal 3d6 plus 32, plus, assuming you've got Thorn Body up, additional 1d6 piercing, plus, assuming anybody is flanking with you, you're going to get another 46 precision damage to that. And then you're also going to get 2 more claw attacks, plus 30 each, 2d6 plus 32 plus 1d6 piercing plus 46 precision. Because they're all primary, when you get to make a full attack, you should probably land all 3 of those. And each of those is going to hit between 34 and 80 points of damage, and all that doubles on a confirmed crit. Additionally, if you happen to have Thorn Body up, anybody attacking you back with anything other than a reach weapon is going to take 1d6 plus 12 points of damage every time they swing at you. I'm not sure if that's whether they're successful or not, but maybe. I'd double check on that one. So yeah, you're just putting out damage pretty much constantly. So we've got 3 more feats that we haven't touched on yet, and for those, my recommendation is Iron Will, because you need every bit of will that you can get. Even with Iron Will, your will is going to be a very pathetic plus 13. Luckily, the immunity to fear and the bonus on the confusion stuff is going to help out, but it's still abysmal. And then with your other 2 feats, I recommend Vital Strike and Improved Vital Strike, because you're not always going to make a full attack, especially because people are going to be running from you because you're the Hulk. So when you are able to close in and only get off a single attack, at least now you're going to be doing 96 plus the 32 plus potentially the 1d6 from Thorn Body and 46 from Sneak Attack. So it's worth it, in my opinion, because I feel like you're going to use it on a pretty regular basis. That's for that when you have to move and attack. The traits you're going to take, the first one's going to be Alchemical Prodigy, the Thuvia specific one, and that is going to increase the duration of all of our extracts, because it's going to treat us as 1 level higher, which is fantastic. And then the second one is going to be Iron Control, and this one means that whenever someone manages to confuse you, you will, and you have to kind of roll to see what you're supposed to do, you're going to be able to subtract 10 from that result before determining what your appropriate behavior is, which should hopefully keep you from destroying your friends or yourself. And your weakness is the mental mind games, unfortunately. You don't get Hulk's immunity to that in this build. Cash-wise, we've got a whole lot we can still spend. First thing we're going to do here is the Vest of Stable Mutation. So normally whenever you take a mutagen, your mental ability scores get penalized. And with this, they don't. So that's fantastic. And it isn't even that stupid expensive. It's only 20k. So that's nice. And is it essential? No, but it's nice. Especially since it's going to keep your will save from dropping any farther than it already is. We also have our +3 Furious Amulet of Mighty Fist. So when you've got the Rage mutagen or Rage formula active, that's going to obviously boost up to a functional +5, which will mean you're going to be overcoming all of the DRs. You know, there's your Silver, Cold Iron, Alignment, and Adamantine as a +5 weapon. And that's what, oh, and of course Magic. And that's what all 3 of your attacks are going to do, is be able to overcome those things. So that's nice. We've got our Boots of the Earth, and this is kind of going to represent Hulk's healing, rapid healing, because it is unlimited fast healing 1 for the price of a move action each round while you stand still. Obviously, it's best used out of combat, because you can just stand still for 2, 3, 4 minutes or whatever, and you're going to be close to back to full health. And it gives you a bonus on resisting bull rush, reposition, and trip combat maneuvers, but you don't need that. You're already at a stupid high number. And then and this was the other thing that the lesser version type of thing that I talked about earlier was going to be the +1 Spell Resistance 17 Mithril Chain Shirt. The 5th level formula will get you Spell Resistance 25, but obviously it won't always be on, whereas this will. And this is going to work in most cases, because at the very least, by forcing the roll, anybody with a cash level of 15th or less, you've got at least a 5% chance to negate their spell, which is great. The Ring of Resistance +5 we're taking. This is required to bring us up to that 13 will, because that's how bad your will is. And we went Ring because our shoulder slot is going to be occupied with these muleback cords. Now, this isn't entirely necessary, but I think it's thematically appropriate. And the muleback cords will increase your strength score by 8 for the purposes of determining carrying capacity. So that means you've got a functional strength of 52 for carrying capacity. And of course, that's not on the chart. So for every +10, you're multiplying by 4. And when you do the math on that, you're looking at being able to lift about 33 tons above your head. And frankly, those are rookie numbers for the Hulk. So we're going to take that up another step with a 1-a-day first level extract by the name of Ant Hall. And with Ant Hall, we're going to be tripling our carrying capacity without actually affecting our strength. And because it lasts 2 hours per level, and we're functionally a 14th level caster for the purpose of duration, that's 28 hours. So you can go longer than a day off of just that one. With that in play, and everything else on, obviously, you're going to pick up just shy of 100 tons over your head. You will be able to lift about 200 tons off of the ground. You'll be able to push or pull 500 tons, and if conditions are favorable, up to 1,000 tons. For reference, 1,000 tons is equivalent to dragging about 5 adult blue whales tied end to end. And then that 33 tons that we originally started with here, yeah, that's a light load. so you'll be able to run at full speed with no penalties to anything with 33 tons above your head. So that's just kind of funny. So moving on, we're going to go to skills. I'm not going to go super in depth on skills because skills are probably one of the lesser important things for Hulk. But needless to say, the Bruce half is super knowledgeable, and you're going to be able to at least make a roll with decent odds of success in every knowledge category. And you're going to either alchemically or by tinkering be able to make just about any magical device function, even if it's not meant for you. On the Hulk side of the house, there's really only 3 or 4 skills that matter. First one, climb, and when you're shifted, you've got to climb speed anyways. So you're looking at a 29, which means you can climb anything, more or less, and you can even go very quickly. Swim, with 1 point invested because of your ridiculous strength, you're still looking at 21, which means you're going to swim wherever you want to swim. And then acrobatics, with 16 points in, and assuming you've got the haste up, and assuming everything else, you're looking at a 41 to your jump, which we're going to boost again with the jump extract, which at your level is going to add an extra plus 30 to that. So it should turn that into a 71, which means that you're going to be making horizontal leaps of 75 feet just pretty much automatically. So to go over everything, you've got, and again, this is fully buffed, so like it's kind of disingenuous because you're not always going to be at this level, but this is your potential level. You're going to have a 44 strength, a 22 dex, a 28 con, a 14 intelligence, a 10 wisdom, 10 charisma. You're going to have 235 hit points, which is going to function something closer to like 360 because of the DR. You're going to have an AC of 43, a spell resistance of 17, a fort save of 24, reflex save of 22, a will save of 13, with a couple of other fun little bonuses put in there, an initiative of 10. Assuming you're hasted, your speed's going to be 60. You're going to be able to lift literally anything you want off of the ground. You'll be large, you'll have reach, you'll wreck face on a pretty regular basis. So that's my view of Hulk. You can actually make a stronger character. I've done so with Blood Rager. I've gotten my strength up into the 60s. But Blood Rager doesn't fit the theme. And that took a whole lot more buffing. So it was kind of questionable, like whether you would ever actually be able to achieve those numbers. That was more of a theory craft thing than a functional character. I think this version of Hulk is a much more functional character. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Leave me your opinions. Tell me ways to improve this character. Tell me thoughts for who I should build next. I'm probably going to continue to work through the Avengers. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time.